Disc brakes are just a marketing tool to sell bikes to people who already had them. You can cut that bit out.
Hello and welcome to Just Ride Bikes. I'm David and this is Simon Warren, who is a climbing specialist, and hopefully you saw our previous video on his series of books where you go around the UK and Europe charting the best hardest climbs over the last 12 years. And since he's a lover of climbs, you would think he'd have a special climbing bike. So we're going to take a look at his bike today and go through the details and see what's really.
Yeah. The first things first, this is the second bike.
Okay, the second bike.
I'm blessed to have two carbon bikes. This is the training bike. So because I was out for a ride with you today, Dave, I just thought I'd go easy and bring the heavy training bike.
Thank you very much.
This once upon a time this was the best bike. It's into its 19th season.
It's 19 years old.
Yeah.
It should be hung up on a wall rather than ridden. But you're still riding it.
Of course I'm still riding it because it still works.
And we've got these things. I don't want to start with these.
For anyone who's started cycling in the last 3 or 4 years, these are brakes, the rim brakes. And what they do is they preserve the beautiful integrity of the bike wheel, which in modern bikes has been destroyed by strapping a massive chunk of metal to it.
Would you say you're a retro grouch when it comes to modern technology?
No, I'm just, I can't fit disc brakes to this bike. So basically this bike has been engineered obsolete by people who build new bikes. Whereas before you could just buy new wheels or buy this and they're all clamped on. Now, it's all been decided for me.
Okay. Yeah.
So if I want to upgrade, I have to buy a whole new system. So it's not that I'm against disc brakes. I mean, they're ugly, everyone knows that, and they make a hell of a lot of noise when you're braking. But apart from that, it's just they don't fit my bikes.
Okay.
I'm invested in the technology which is now obsolete.
Okay.
But has worked, always will work, is lighter, no one ever didn't stop, did they?
No, maybe not very well.
Yeah.
In the rain. Anyway, let's put the brakes versus disc brakes to one side. Let's start the frame. It's a Time.
Yes. This is their sort of entry-level carbon frame.
Okay, yeah.
Hand-built in France. Took the family once to see the factory in France because it's on the way to the Alps.
It's a beautiful looking frame, horizontal top tube, really skinny tube profiles.
Beautiful carbon weave in there. And again, it's been over a lot of mountains, up a lot of hills. It's done Roubaix, it's done everything, and it's still in great nick.
Okay, yeah.
So it's built to last, quality. They're not cheap frames, but they're great quality.
Okay, and then you're going for a Campag group set?
Yes.
So you're a Campag man, are you?
It was sort of by accident. When I was in Australia and I took a bike with me. I used to work at Cycling Weekly, and I needed a bike to take with me to go training. So I basically begged and stole and borrowed everything, and what I managed to get was a Campag Chorus group set. And I took that with me in the bike, and I came back, and then I was just Campag then. Okay. And Campag always make much nicer things. Their chain sets are ugly now. These are one of the last generation nice looking chain sets that was ever made, to be honest. I mean, Shimano's just really, really ugly. People say Campag doesn't work, but I've never had any problems. Not really.
It works for you.
Some things wear off out.
Gearing choices, you ride climbs all the time, do you have low gears on the bike?
Not really. I must say the best bike still has a 5339 on.
That's a racing gear.
Yeah, it's just proper gears, isn't it?
Climb gear though, isn't it?
But then a few years back, after cramping too much on Hard Knot Pass and starting to suffer in the Alps, I invested in a compact. So now I've got a 34. If I ever go to the mountains, I'll put the compact on the best bike.
Okay.
But I refuse to get anything bigger than 29 at the back. Once you get to 30, you probably have to buy a new rear mech, and they're just clown's gears. So it's a 34-29, and if I've done Banford Clough on that, I can do anything on that. In fact, I very rarely use the bottom two because they're sort of like bailout gears.
I won't mention the fact that I got a 1036 on my bike then.
Yeah, 36. Yeah,
it's all about spinning, spin to win.
Yeah.
So
you are spinning on those gears.
So your gearing defies my sort of expectation you having a low setup. Let's move to wheels. These look pretty lightweight.
Yeah, these
profile,
sort of
not aero. So there's no aero.
There's no aero on these. No, these are sort of a bomb-proof alloy. I mean, I have aero zips on the best bike, but these are bomb-proof alloy training wheel.
Okay.
Great braking for coming down big mountains.
Yep.
Lightweight, strong. They'll last 4 or 5 years.
Okay, yeah.
Then they'll get put on the winter bike and they'll do another 2 and then they'll fail. So And that's the other thing about the rims. You know, I've got a stable of bikes. Everything gets cascaded down.
Okay.
So it's good, you know, if something wears out, if you buy something, buy it new for the best bike and then move things down and put the other things on the winter bike. And the winter bike gets gradually better, but everything is compatible with itself.
Yeah. Until we can't get parts anymore. That's what eBay's for.
Exactly.
And then white bar tape. I used to run white bar tape when I was young.
Always white bar tape.
And foolish, but...
Because it looks bling.
But keeping it clean, though.
Yeah, in fact, well, this stuff, I don't know if we're doing product placement, this Data, I can't remember the name of it, it does keep very clean. It's got a sort of I put this on like June last year, and look at it. You know, and if it gets really dirty, then you have to replace it.
Okay, yeah. So the bike's fairly, it's shown it's aged well. It has aged well, clearly.
Yeah, obviously.
But that's a fairly modern saddle.
Yeah.
So concession to the technology.
Yeah, this is brand new. Having a few problems downstairs. 50 years old.
And is that because you're using the 20-year-old rock hard flight saddle?
Yeah, that, and I've been wearing skinny jeans for the last 49 years.
Blood flows.
I've had the prostate all checked out. Everything's okay, but I need to start taking some pressure off the perineum. So I've gone for saddles with a gap in.
And a short saddle as well. One of these.
Yeah, it's a bit shorter. I tried a couple which didn't fit, but this Physic, it's great.
Okay.
And I've lowered it down. Usually, the old school thing was you put a spirit level on the saddle and it's flat, and that's it.
Yep.
But now, just to get a little bit more pressure off, a lot of testers are running them at an angle down as well. That's time trials if you don't know what testers are. So I've angled it down a bit. It's comfortable. It's really comfortable, and almost angled down. The back lifts up slightly. You can almost feel like you're going to push against that a bit.
Okay,
so when you're rolling a big gear on the flat, that I like that. So I've really fallen for this saddle. So I've got two of them, and they do a really light one, but I couldn't find it for sale anywhere, the Argo Zero, so I might have to treat myself to one of those later in the year. And then that'll get cascaded down to the second best bike, then the winter bike, then the hack bike.
I presume you know the weight of the bike?
As it is, it's not particularly light. I think it's about 6.5. Yeah, so it's you know, but the other one's a bit lighter, but it's the workhorse.
Okay.
Train heavy, race light, something like that.
Do you think you'll ever move to, dare I say it, disc brakes, wide tyres, electronic gears? 25s?
Yeah. For a man who started on 18mm tyres, these are still like tractor tyres.
They look so narrow. I run nothing narrower than 28s
It's
these
not
days.
narrow, is it?
Well, on this
It's
bike,
fat.
they
You
look,
always, you know,
on
when
this
I-
bike they look okay because everything's skinny.
It's preconceived ideas. When I was growing up as a kid, a racing bike was defined by its narrow tyres.
Yeah.
If we saw those as a kid, that wouldn't be a racing bike. So that is hardwired into my psyche. To go to 25s hurt from 23s, and that hurt from going from 21s to 23s. I do like the 25s. I've got no problem with it whatsoever, but the 28s is a joke.
I'd love to do a bike sort of you and get you onto a modern bike with wide tyres and disc brakes and electronic gears just to see
Bouncing along like that.
whether you could change. But something tells me you're not ready for change.
There's aesthetics as well. Which
Okay. I get that, totally get
classic
the look.
aesthetics.
Yeah.
And obviously, if you've got disc brakes, the clutter goes from here. It's all neat, but the clutter just ends up there. You know, this is neat and nice, and that's cluttered. But that never used to be cluttered. But you know, disc brakes are just a marketing tool to sell bikes to people who already had them. You can cut that bit out.
I'll leave it all in, unedited.
Yeah.
So there we go. Not the super lightweight climbing bike with handlebars cut off. I thought it might be.
But
For the hill climb season, it might be.
Yeah, at the end of the year, I strip the bike down. I've got cut off bars and the lot, levers with bits taken out of, carbon saddle, titanium sprockets. You know, you can take well over 1 kilo off.
Okay, yeah. Oh, right, okay, yeah. I thought if I was in your position riding climbs for a living and write about them, I'd probably be on the lightest bike possible.
But then my bike is, whereas
Make it easier.
There's lots of different bikes. My bikes has to be a time trial bike, has to be a criterion bike, has to be a hill climb bike, has to be a gravel bike.
Gravel?
Yeah, the same bike that rides. Yeah, I'll go off on the trails. On this, it's got 25mm tyres.
That's a gravel on these.
The same bike has to do everything.
Okay, yeah.
You know, you could put some bars on it and ride a time trial
Right
on
to
the
the pub?
A1. Say again?
Right to the pub?
Well, yeah. No, I've got my fixed wheel for that.
Okay.
You know, and that's what a bike always used to be. You had one bike and you did everything.
Yeah. There we go. A look back into time with, like that.
Yeah.
Let me know what you think of this bike down below. You loving it, hating it? Leave a comment down below. and show your appreciation by hitting that like button. But thank you, Simon, for sharing your,
My pleasure.
your bike. It's a beauty. I mean, joking aside, it's a lovely looking bike.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of time for it. I just like the benefits of technology.
It's lasted the test of
I
time.
need the technology to enable me to get up the hills and keep up with you as well. So there we go. Anyway, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you again very soon. Thanks, Simon.
No worries.
Pleasure always.
My pleasure.